guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to do something a little bit different. A video or two ago I said something about doing some trapping, and a bunch of you seemed quite interested in that. So I was like, hey, just going to do a how-to video, refresh myself and show you guys what I do. So what I'm going to show you guys today is the simplest, most effective way in my area to catch coyotes. And that's the general thing that I'll probably be targeting the most. Coyotes are a problem in my area. They not only will attack sheep and cows, you know, the calves, stuff like that. They cause a lot of problems for the farmers and ranchers in my area. And they're just pests. I mean, they come up, they'll snag cats, they'll take small dogs. Some of you guys that live in places where there's a higher concentration of coyotes know all these problems all too well. I mean, these creatures are smart. And they're also pretty aggressive sometimes. Not towards people so much. Around here, a coyote, they see a car even slow down on a dirt road, they're gone. Either that or they're really dumb, because they get shot at and hunted and trapped in my area a lot. There's a thing called it's an Amish coyote roundup. And if you guys want to see that, it happens like at the beginning of the year. It's normally in December or January. It's a rodeo, I tell you. It normally involves about 50 to 60 people, a bunch of 12 gauges, and a lot of walking. So I'm going to be making a dirt hole set today. It's, again, the simplest, most effective thing in my area. There's a few ways to do it, but this is the way that works for me. It's the way I was taught how to do it. When it comes to trapping and stuff like that, there is a million, literally, I have no doubt, a million ways to do everything. All right. I made my own kit pretty much. It's a real simple thing. I didn't spend a whole bunch of money. You can buy all these items brand new from a trapping supply place like Minnesota Trap Line. They're a great company. I recommend them. They have a lot of quality products. But I trap on a budget, so if I could make it, I did. So I'll show you some stuff that's in my pack first. This here is my hammer for putting stakes in the ground, and my hatchet, which sometimes I need to trim a little bit of a tree branch, or if the ground's frozen, I'll chop it up as well. This is my sifter, literally a pan that I took a drill press to. It works pretty good. It's nothing real fancy. I've taken wood and just made a square box, you know, with no top or bottom, and put hail screen on the bottom. That works as a great sifter too, and it costs you next to nothing to do. Or you can buy a nice sifter. Those are pretty handy. They're a lot fancier. This I did buy. You need a shovel, and you need a good one. This one here I recommend. I think they're a 20 or 24 inch shovel. You want a nice small hole that you can make, buy one of these. You can make your own stuff like that, but it's so much nicer to have a good one. I also used to have a wire that I would carry with me to sort of make the set look real nice. I don't have that anymore, so I often use a stick because I haven't made one yet. But what I did last time is I took a piece of number 9 wire and I just sort of made it about 8 inches long, put a loop on one end. I spray painted that orange because I lost it a lot, but you can just use a stick. I'll use a stick today. It does pretty much the same thing. One thing I don't have in here is normally I have a pair of leather gloves. Normally I'll buy a set of gloves in the summer and I'll set them out just to let them descent a little bit. You don't want human scent on your stuff. So normally this whole process that I'm going to show you, I do with gloves on because I don't want to get my human smell on any of my stuff, because coyotes are smart, and if they smell that, most times they'll dig you up, and they're very good at it. I've had coyotes dig up a trap, flip it over, I've had them poop on it. It's crazy. They are insanely smart animals. So no human smell. There's lots of trap prep and stuff. I'm not going to get into that today. I'll finish showing you what's in my pack, and then we'll get into making the set. So another thing I carry with me, extra trap tags. I got these made. You can just, there's lots of ways to make tags, but I recommend just getting them made. In my state, Kansas, you have to have your name, your license number. I put my phone number on them also, just in case my trap gets pulled or something like that. It gets lost, someone finds it. That way they can get a hold of me right away like that also. So extra trap tags, that's something I carry. I also carry some marking tape, sandwich bags. I carry a lot of these. I normally buy a new box every year. And there's lure and stuff like that. So we got a trap and a stake. And just in case you guys are wondering, my bag is from Goodwill. I just went in, they happen to have something that I thought would work, and that's what I use. I've used backpacks. You can buy actual trapper's packs, those are pretty nice. But this was $2, so I used it. I've also used buckets, I've used all sorts of stuff. As long as you can carry your stuff in and out, that's all that really matters in my area. I'm not traveling miles and miles on end carrying it, so I'm not worried about that. Most of the time I can drive to my sets or within 100 yards or so. So that's what I got going on there. It's really windy today, so I gotta do this over here by the barn. So we're gonna pretend that this is a log in a prime trapping area. So if I want to set here, I'm gonna grab my shovel and I am going to make a hole. Now this is really sandy soil, so it's less than opportune. It's actually not too bad. I was actually expecting it to be a whole lot worse. And you just want to make a small hole, but you want it to be deep. I like to make these about at least 8, if not 10 inches deep. So that's a good deep hole there. Normally, when I dig the hole out, I would put my dirt into my sifter. That way I have the same stuff to sift back into. Obviously, I forgot because I was trying to remember everything and I forgot already. So normally put your dirt in the sifter. Let's pretend I did all that. After you have your hole dug, you want a place to bed your trap. So what I normally do is I want the pan of the trap about, for me it's this far, from my finger to my thumb. That's about, what, 6 inches or so to the center of the trap, from the front of the lip. So I want my pan to be here, so I need to have a spot about that size. You want to make sure that you get it deep enough because I put my stake in the bottom also. So give yourself plenty, you can fill it back in if you need. I think this is a Bridger, I'm not sure. I think it's a 175, outside laminated. Anyway, I got my tag on there, got an extra swivel. Decent coyote trap there. It's night latched also, but we'll get into all that stuff later. Anyway, so what I do next is I'll take my stake, and now stake length, this is a 12 or a 14 inch stake. Works pretty good in clay or longer chain stuff. In my area, a lot of times I use either a 24 or a 30 inch stake for coyotes. It's just what I need for the soil I have, or you can cross stake them, that works too. So I take my stake, and I drive that sucker down in there. You want to be able to hold. In this soil, you want a much longer one, but that's what we're experimenting with today. Obviously, I'm not going to leave this set. Get your trap set. Now, put a bunch of loose stuff back in the bottom to about the depth that I want. When it's all set, I don't want more than about, a 1/4 inch max from the trap jaws to the top. I use sandwich bags for pan covers. Just take it, rip it down. You can use a knife for this too. This one behaved quite nice. So now that you have it open, I just make a tear. Make a tear down like that. 2-3 inches in, probably 3 or so. Now here's the fun part. So it goes under the jaw that way. And normally, since you're wearing gloves, I just take a stick and poke it underneath the jaws on that side. The idea of this is to keep dirt from going underneath the pan, to keep it from going off. The slit here, you see, goes where your dog is. That's what this is called. That way it doesn't keep it from going up. So you take this. See now? No dirt can get underneath that. And you take it and you want to bed it down in here. Now you see I have about that far, and you want to make sure that you offset your trap some. Animals don't have feet in the middle of their body. Typically they'll come up to it and you want it to be offset a little bit so you'll catch one side or the other. I almost always set to the left. Why? I have no idea, but I do. So normally it's just a couple inches off center. Normally I keep my finger straight, and about where my thumb hits, that's about where I end up putting it. Now this is a very important part here. When you bed your trap, you want that sucker solid. You do not want it to move at all. Ooh, I just pushed on that a little bit more than I wanted. Hit set the trap. All right, bed that sucker in. Make it solid. You do not want anything to shift when that animal steps anywhere close to the wrong area. Otherwise, he will feel it and he gone. Either that or he digs you up. All right, my trap's bedded pretty well. Take your sifter and just sift over the top. All right, got my fancy stick here. Just smooth it over. You want this thing to disappear. You want it to be as if it was never, ever there. So my area, that's about all you want to do. You don't want to leave it really, you don't want to do a whole lot of brushing or anything like that for coyotes. One thing that's careful that you want to do though is you don't want any sticks or big things on your pan. So my pan's right here. I want to make sure that there's nothing, a stick like that, they won't step on that. Like if they can avoid it, he'll step here or there. Make sure it's pretty clean. You don't want anything like that on there. Sometimes I've gone and sort of, I want him to step there, so we'll put some sticks there like that. If you're setting for bobcats and stuff like that, I've seen people make a complete square where they want him to step. But the coyotes in my area are pretty smart already. So typically, that's about all I do there. A lot of times I'll use Q-tips or something. I often use sticks, corn cobs, whatever. I'll take my lure. That's a coyote gland lure. Anyway, I'll take it. I'm not going to use it this time, but I'll dip it in there. You want about whatever you recommend. A lot of times I use about a pea size. Take it, put it down in the hole. Make sure it goes way down in there. That way it's not easy to get to. Or if you use bait or whatever, I often use a mix of lures. Sometimes I use bait. Sometimes I make my own stuff. You never know. That's kind of, up to whatever works in your area or what time of year it is. In the colder weather, you want a skunkier smell. Kind of up to you. I'm a big fan of Violator 7. It's one that Minnesota Trapping Company makes. That's like my favorite, but it's pretty strong. It's pretty skunky. Don't get it on yourself. After you get that done, a lot of times if I have it with me, I'll use a little bit of coyote urine or bobcat urine, sometimes fox. Most of the time coyote, that's what I have with me. And I'll put a little bit of dash of that somewhere just sort of as a confidence thing. And that's a set. That is how I set a dirt hole set. It's very effective in my area. It's plain Jane, it's easy. It's like the basic trap set that almost everyone knows how to do. That's how I do it. I hope you guys learn something from it. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully it helps you. If you know how to do that, you can catch pretty much anything you really, really want to. Dry land wise anyway. So I hope you guys are excited for this season. I'm pretty pumped that it's coming up. It's another about a month away. But, it's a good time to get your traps ready, get them boiled, dipped, get your pack all situated, make sure you have all your supplies. And, brush up on a couple things. Set some traps in the backyard. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't. We'll see you on the next one.